Hey everybody, in today's video I'm going to show you how you can chart moving averages in Google Sheets and also to track when there's been crossovers that have taken place with maybe the 20-day average coming above the 50-day average or vice versa. And so in this example I've got Coca-Cola's stock prices going back to 2021, and what I'm going to do is compare the 20-day moving average against the 50-day moving average. So I'll create one field for the 20-day moving average and another one for the 50-day moving average. And to calculate the moving average, it's as simple as just grabbing the first 20 data points and just averaging them out. And so you can double check that you've got 20 points in here. Check the count indicator here. And then just paste this formula down below. And since nothing's locked here, this formula is going to move, so that moving average is in fact moving. For the 50-day moving average, I'm going to have to start a bit lower, around row 53. Select that average. And again, copy that down. And just to do a double check, we've got 50 data points selected. So that's the easy part. The next thing I'm going to do is create a formula to detect whether there's been a crossover. So this is a bit trickier, but it's not too hard to build in the criteria for this formula. In essence, what I'm looking to see is, if the 20-day average has now jumped above the 50-day average or if it's fallen below the 50-day average. So to do this, I'm going to need a couple of if functions, and within each if function, I need multiple criteria. And so I'm going to use the AND operator to say, okay, if this 20-day average is greater than the 50-day average, and the day before it was less than or equal to that average, then that tells me it's jumped above. And if that happens, then I'll put a value of, for now, let's say 100. And if it's false, I'm going to go into another if function. And this time I'm going to say, okay, if this is less than the 50-day moving average, but the day before it was greater than or equal to it, then again, that's another shift, another crossover. So in that case, again, I'll set it to 100. Otherwise, everything's set to 0. So I'll show you why I used 100 in a second, but let's first check to make sure that's calculating correctly. So I've got a couple examples here. So this one, the 20-day average was 54.61, which is less than 54.67. But the day before, it was 54.677, which was higher than 54.6664. So in that case, there was a crossover because it was higher before and now lower today. So it's a crossover. Here we've got another 100. And in this case, 55.08. This one is higher than 55.04. A day earlier is 54.95. And that was lower than 54.98. So again, another crossover. It was lower here, but higher here. So the formula does appear to be working properly. So now that that's set up, I can go and create a chart. So I'm just going to select Insert Chart. Go with the default one. A simple line chart will do. So right now this one does not go far enough. It goes until column D. I need to adjust it so it goes to column E. And so now I can pull in that crossover. And so this is the reason why I set that crossover to 100. And really, it doesn't have to be 100. It can be maybe 75. But the idea is I just want it to go from bottom all the way to the top. So it's a straight vertical line. And so right now, it's a green color, but I can make this a bit more subtle, maybe a gray color, so a bit more modest. It doesn't stand out as much. And then I could potentially update my axis, so I've got a bit of a tighter range here, maybe from, let's say, around 40 as the minimum to perhaps 80 as the maximum. And in this case, that I still have those vertical lines. So I see all these points where there has been a crossover. So depending on how you want this chart to look, you can still make additional changes, such as maybe you want to get rid of the closing price. But as you can see, anytime that there's a crossover, we've got the red and the yellow moving averages crossing over. We have this this line indicating. And to get rid of some of the noise, what we can do is remove the grid lines. So both for the vertical axis and the horizontal, just so that way you're stuck with just the lines indicating crossovers, so you can narrow in exactly when a crossover happened. So that's one thing you could do. Now, another option you may want to consider in adjusting your formula is, if you don't want crossovers to be triggered too frequently, like let's say if a crossover happened within the past 30 or 40 days, you don't want it to show up. Again, like let's say in this example, we just had a crossover up here on July 7th. Do we really want to flag it if it crosses over again on July 23rd? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But let's say you didn't. So in this case, what we could do is add another if statement. And this time, we're going to look at the sum. So let's say if, however many cells this is, let's say if the sum of that is greater than 0, meaning that there was a crossover, then I'm going to set this to 0. And it's only going to evaluate the rest of this if that criteria hasn't been met. All right, so now it goes to 0 because obviously there's been a crossover here, so that eliminates that one. So I'll copy this all the way down. And now what we'll check to see is now we've got a bit fewer lines here, not a whole lot, but there was a bit more earlier here. So it can make it a bit cleaner by potentially getting rid of some of that noise. So especially if you're dealing with a really volatile stock that has potentially a lot of crossovers, it may be beneficial to add in that extra condition to say, okay, look at that criteria to see if it's been met recently. If that's the case, let's just ignore any crossovers for at least X amount of days. So that's another example of how you can adjust this formula to suit your needs and how you want it to look, because you may want it to show every single possible crossover, maybe you don't. But either way, by setting up a static amount for the crossover amount, like in my example, I set it to 100 just to make sure that it goes all the way to the top. You can create the effect of having vertical lines, and so they become indicators for you to show that, okay, this is when there was a crossover that took place. So it makes it a bit easier potentially to track, as opposed to following the lines and seeing when it happened. So that's how you can add vertical lines and track crossovers in 50-day and 20-day moving averages in Google Sheets. Hope you found this video useful, and thank you for watching.